Hey everybody, ASIC Eric here, and today I am moving on to this lower quarter panel patch on the passenger side here. I started this a long time ago, and I'm now just finally getting back around to trying to finish it up. It's funny, I came out here this morning just piddling around. We had to go somewhere, so I just had a couple minutes to kill, and I was futzing around with it, trying to line it up and stuff, and yeah, didn't have my gloves on, and first thing I did, cut myself right on that. So I always wear gloves when I'm working on the car for stuff like that, and I didn't have them on and I got cut. So it's not bad, it's not like stitches or anything, but just annoying. But of interesting note is this thing doesn't fit nearly as well as it did before. I don't know what the story is. Kind of cockeyed right now, but let me get it set up sort of where I think it belongs, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is about right here. I have my gloves off right now. I just took them off, so I'm trying not to touch anything. What happened last time is it's only clamped right here, and I was touching it in this corner here, and this piece popped out, and I reached for it and tried to grab it. Stabbed myself. Anyway, so bottom line is this gap is a lot bigger than I remember it being, and that's without this corner really lined up well. So ideally this needs to come forward a little bit more to line up. That's probably close enough to live with, but if I line this up here, then this gap is even worse. Focus. Back here, so I don't really want to do that, so kind of have to leave that as is. This corner right here is a little wonky. I don't think I ever finished this part up back here, so that's probably not surprising. I hit this with a hammer earlier and tried to get this to line up a little better. Anyway, and then the thing I noticed this morning was this piece is just miles off right here. You can see that, so it's touching up here where the clamps are there, but it's just way off down here. But that's just the aftermarket panel as best I can tell. So I'm gonna start marking this and start bending it into shape where it needs to be. So I need to curl this bottom edge up here to line up with the drop-off panel. So I gotta kind of figure out where that line is and try and get that as gentle a bend as I can in there, so there's not a big hard edge right here, because I don't think there was one before. I'm probably gonna have to make a relief cut in here to make all this work. And in the back here, this piece has to bend up in there too. Alright, sorry. Not sure exactly where I left off there, but anyway, this edge here is the tricky one to get rolled over, and this piece here I've got to get to form up against the back of the drop-off pan there too. I'm going to try and compare this to the driver's side full or quarter panel skin that I have and try and see if I can tell any differences between the two. These skins, they don't really form the outside edges, they just kind of half-ass it here basically, and so exercise left to the reader to get that to work. And I just noticed this body line right here is non-existent. That's nice. Anyway, there's going to be a lot of work on this, and one of the problems here, which I don't understand, is the factory part of the quarter panel here has got this super crisp edge on it, which this doesn't obviously, but it's only right here, and it doesn't look like any work has been done here. So I sanded all this off, there's no Bondo or anything in there, and the rest of it, it's got a nice radiused edge on it, just right there. It's super sharp, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. I may have to grind that down, and then of course I'll end up punching a hole in it, and then I'll have to weld it up, so that's going to suck. But anyway, let's start trying to get this thing formed into place. Alright, so what I'm doing here is get my bullet dolly out again with the hammer. You can see that I tried to make a scribe approximately where that line was, and just try and beat it into submission here. So my goal is to get it approximately correct so it lines up, and then I'll try and go back and smooth out all of that damage that I did to it. But I'll show you here if I can do this with one hand. pretty flush, so I'm just working my way forward. That part's still pretty far off, as I said before. Probably going to have to make a relief cut there, figure out what I'm going to do. I think that's probably as close as I'm going to get it. The rest of this I'm going to have to kind of mash into place when it's up there. You can see how far off this was here. That wasn't even close. So I was thinking of making a bunch of relief cuts in this and trying to get it, but I think better than that, I'll just cut this piece off and just make a new one. It'll probably be easier than trying to shape that other one. And then all of those little dents on there, I'm guessing the easiest way to do that is going to be to just get it in there and you know, tap them down, and then just, you know, kind of guide coat it with a Sharpie or something and just try and smooth that out as best I can once it's in there. I can try and take some of those dents out, but I lose the contour if I beat on it too much, so we'll see if I can smooth that out a little bit, but that's pretty much it. And then just pressure is going to have to hold this in place here because it's still a little loose, but I don't want to beat on it much more than that. So let me try and straighten that up a little bit there, and then it's ready to be tacked in. Alright, so after a little hammer and dolly there, it's not too bad, I think. I mean, it's a shame that you got to beat the snot out of a new panel like that, but you know, guess that's what you got to deal with. So overall, I think this is going to be okay. And we're going to see how bad the gaps are, especially in this corner. This metal's probably going to give me all kinds of grief back here, but anyway. So I'm going to mark it now and cut all the holes out for the plug welds, and then grind the epoxy off and get my weld through primer on there. I just actually realized I need to do this part first, put that little patch piece in right there before I do the rest. Alright, there's a little piece ready to go in there. I just left this line straight for now. I'll carve it out with the grinder later to something that's aesthetically pleasing. That guy's ready to tack in there. Hopefully this doesn't give me any grief being right on the corner, but we'll find out. Even those little things blew through right there. So that's lingering too long. I would say that came out pretty tasty. No complaints there. I do have a question about this though. Is it okay to put fiberglass in these areas here? I know people want to generally stay away from the edges. I just want to make sure that edge is filled. This is pretty darn smooth over here. I'll put a wipe of fiberglass on that anyway, but stay away from the edge here, and just to make sure I get down inside the welds. But yeah, that came out real nice. It's a little concave right there, but I can pound that out. Anyway, okay, so I got to take it down now and get all the plug weld holes cut and get it in weld through primer. Okay, like I've done before, I just took off the epoxy where the spot welds, or plug welds, will go, and ground off all the epoxy from around the weld area. Here's the panel, ready to go. So I'm just going to cover the inside edges with weld through primer now. Okay, we are all primed up and ready for action. So wish me luck. I just realized this is the first panel on the car that you're actually going to really be able to see. This is my first exterior panel. I've been doing everything in the trunk and such, so let's see if I learned anything along the way here. Alright, I'll have to tap this into place a little bit. Dave's magical magnet here. Everything's approximately in place there. Start welding. Popped up right when that happened, so level here is too high here. I'm just going to keep working my way around like that. Okay, I took this edge right here and took the cutting wheel to it because it was just too tight. And so I opened up that cut a little bit there. Not very cleanly. Hopefully this doesn't bite me in the ass. But the weld was just too tight there. It's going to buckle if I tried to weld that. So, alright, so I'm working my way around this way. Everything's going pretty good up until here. And then this corner is just a nightmare in here. Blow-throughs, all kinds of problems. And spot welds or plug welds have just been really hard for me lately. I used to be really good at this. I'm guessing my welder isn't dialed in right. I tilted the car upright more, so I'm not trying to weld upside down, which usually doesn't work. So, I don't know. Try turning up the heat a little bit and see if that helps. Actually, no, I thought about it, and I turned the wire speed down. It's so much better. I had the wire speed turned up because of the blow-throughs, but for the plug welds, that doesn't work. So I had to turn that back down, but that's good. That one looks much better. Oh yeah, anyway, so the reason I'm doing this is this corner here is adjustable, right? Because where these things actually get welded in is fungible. This edge is not. This stuff really has to line up in a specific place, so I can take these clamps off and let this thing relax and fall where it wants to fall once I get the rest of it in place. So I'm actually going to do that in a second here and see how everything goes. Okay, now I'm at a loss. My welder just decided it won't weld anymore. I don't know what's going on with it. But, you try to start the weld, it just won't do anything. And then blowing the circuit breaker twice. So I'll show you what's going on here. See if anybody has any ideas. There. Try and weld something. Just nothing. I see it glow, so it's getting some current. But I just won't start. Always something, you know? I'll keep poking around here and see if I can figure this out. Alright, good. I figured out the issue. The tip of the welder had gotten a little bridge of welding wire between the shield on the outside and the center, so it was shorting out basically. So we're back. Alright, I think we are going to call it a day there. As you can see, as we were going along later, the spot welds were doing better, plug welds, and in this corner they went to hell again. Blow-throughs over here, so when you get those, then all bets are off. But mostly went okay. I turned the wire speed down after I was up here. They were just so big and lumpy. And they looked a little better here, and then it just didn't work all that well there. But so I don't know what happened. I used to be pretty good at these, and now I suck. I guess I need more practice. But some of these are good, like that one, Pro. But looks pretty good. I just cut the bottom off here. It was a little longer than it needed to be. And you can see it's a little warbly there, not terrible. So it didn't work too bad with all the huge heat from these plug welds down here. But let me lower the car so you can get a better look at how it looks. You know, I dare say I think that's going to work. It's looking pretty good there. I think the body line's pretty nice. It's not warped yet, but I've got a lot more welds to go. The radius looks pretty good. Comes around that corner pretty nice. I think it'll work. Maybe it's better this way without all the glare. I don't know. I think it's okay. I used a straight edge here, like Roger, going along as I was doing this, and tried to keep these edges tight as I went. I think I did okay. This is a high spot right here. I got to tap down. I think all in all is pretty good. See a little bit of light under that one there, but I know this is high right here. Got to tap that down. But not too bad. I'm digging it. So next time I get to finish up all the rest of these welds here. I did manage to get everything in the corner here to kind of do what it was supposed to, even wrapping around to the back here, although these welds suck. I can clean that up. And I think I got a pretty good contour right here. It was hard, but I think it's going to work with a minimal amount of filler and stuff here. I think it's going to be all right. So yeah, I like it. I'm pretty happy. Let me know if you guys see anything that I should do before I wrap this up, or always, of course, critique and commentary on the welding and everything else. I think I am starting to learn the welding a little bit, because I'm starting to understand when to turn up the wire speed and down the wire speed, and that's an improvement certainly. So, all right. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here, and I will talk to you guys later. See ya.